special pod alert. I know we're dropping an episode on a Saturday, bonus pod. Sometimes we drop a little content from time to time, really to let folks know what's going on behind the scenes. I'm gonna be honest, I have not been hype enough about some of the things going on at Living Corporate. I just haven't. I haven't been hype enough about it. And honestly, because I've been in this space, building this thing for over half a decade, I still honestly forget and appreciate there's so many of y'all who really listen to our show every single week. I know, like, the numbers have like exponentially grown since our beginning, of course. But it's hard sometimes, even for me, to always appreciate the fact that y'all are really checking us out. I did not imagine us getting to this point. And so it's humbling. Look, all that to be said, like, I have not done the team and the growth justice. And so I'm dropping a special pod house cleaning update type thing as we are where we are, right? So look, check it out. For like weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and months and months and months. Honestly, like from like earlier this spring, I was like, hey, something's coming. Living Corporate, we're doing something different. We're doing something special. We got something coming for y'all. Blah, 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 blah. And then I don't really know if I really, really emphasized what we got going on. So I'm just going to like pause. And I want to shout out the diversity movement. All right, sound man, put some claps right here. Put some applause right here. Shout out to the diversity movement. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Donald Thompson. Shout out to Jackie Ferguson. Straight up. Shout out to the entire diversity movement team. Honestly, it's so dope to run into and talk to people in these spaces that do not see you as competition, but as community, as co-conspirators, as partners. You know, it's interesting because like we operate, like when I say we, I mean I'm talking about folks in the DEI space. A lot of us operate in very capitalistic context, very extractive, exploitative context. We don't want to share. We don't want to communicate. We don't want to network. We just want to compete and drag each other down. Truly, honestly, like this is not meant to be me shaking my fist at nobody. I'm saying though, like, I do not believe that true diversity, equity, inclusion can commingle effectively with the standard white supremacist ways of business. I just don't. I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think it's honest. I don't think it's real. And so to meet Jackie Ferguson, to meet Donald Thompson has been such a blessing. Such a blessing. I'm so thankful to be in community with them. And, you know, I have been a fan of the diversity movement for a while. There's been mutual admiration, like us trying to figure out how we work and what we do and how can we coordinate together. And it's dope because we both came to it with respect and excitement. So it wasn't a can we work together? It was a how we're going to work together. You know what I'm saying? So all that being said, if you didn't see the press release, I'll put the press release link in the show notes, as well as some other information. We'll get there in a minute about the fact that the diversity movement has an incredible podcast. It's called Diversity Beyond the Checkbox. And it's an incredible podcast hosted by Jackie Ferguson, who is the co-founder of the diversity movement. And so shout out to Jackie and this incredible podcast, Diversity Beyond the Checkbox, because Diversity Beyond the Checkbox is the first podcast not produced by Living Corporate that is joining the Living Corporate network. Yo, come on, man. Air horns, applause, sound effects. Sound man, Aaron, come on, man. Boost me up, gas me up, gas me up, gas me up. Listen, I want y'all to know this is not like something that we do Living Corporate, all the content on our network historically has been content that we wholly have created and own. You know what I'm saying? Networks are tricky. And frankly, I just haven't really seen Living Corporate as like in that space. Like I don't see myself that highly, and I got to do a better job because, you know, humility isn't about seeing yourself less than. Humility is about having an accurate understanding of who you are. You'll get that on the way home, though. I ain't trying to preach at y'all this morning or this today, whatever you're listening to, wherever you at. Listen, I have had to continue to right size and come to realignment with how fire Living Corporate is, how fire our team is, and how incredible, how fire our impact and reach is. And I just want to say it has been humbling, if you go back to what I said about the definition of humility, to engage and work with and welcome the diversity movement podcast, Diversity Beyond the Checkbox, to our network. So what does it mean that this incredible podcast in its ninth season launching on the 19th, next Tuesday, what does it mean? What does it mean that they're part of the Living Corporate Network? You know, what it means is that their content is going to continue to flourish, and we're going to simply be there to cheer them on, promote them, make sure that we're amplifying them. You're going to see them on our newsletters, on our website. You're going to see them across all of our different socials. You're going to see their faces. You're going to see their content. You're going to hear ads. You're going to hear us promoting their latest conversations, their latest episode. You're going to hear us promoting the diversity movement all around, all across Living Corporate. Anywhere you Google Living Corporate, you also going to see Diversity Beyond the Checkbox. That's what it means. I'm so excited about the prospect to work with this group. I want to shout out Royce and Bob, and again, Jackie and Don. I want to shout out the entire diversity movement team. I'm excited about this, dropping this bonus pod literally to let y'all know about the fact that this podcast is coming. Season 9 launches on the 19th. Now, check it out. If you want to do a catch up and you want to check out like the recap from season 8, some of the best of the highlights and all that, click the link in the show notes, okay? Make sure you click the link in the show notes because you can actually subscribe to their podcast right now, all right? Remember, it's Diversity Beyond the Checkbox, okay? All right, cool. Now look, this ain't the first time, this might be the first time, but it ain't the last time you're going to be hearing us talking about the incredible work of the diversity movement and this incredible podcast, all right? So then here's the second thing. For those who have been rocking with Living Corporate since 2018, when we started 5 years ago, y'all know that we've been out here dropping real talk in a corporate world every single week, multiple times a week for 5 years. Y'all know that. Like, we haven't really taken any breaks. In fact, I want to say a couple holiday seasons ago, we did like a 13 days of podcast. We dropped like a podcast episode every day for 13 straight days. We were just like flooding the street, just letting the chopper spray out there with real talk about navigating the workplace and centering and amplifying historically marginalized voices. Yo, here's the thing though. At a certain point, as we looked at the content for Living Corporate, we're talking as a team, and we said, one day we're going to look up and we're going to have the largest repository of audio-centric thought leadership on matters of workplace fairness and equity in the world. Because there's no other platform, Harvard Business Review, TED, that is constantly only talking about workplace fairness and equity. That's all we talk about. We're talking about mental wellness and health. We're talking about career management. We're talking about identity. We're talking about all these different things. They're always going to be through the lens of workplace fairness and equity, always. And so we look up 900 podcasts later, and I'm like, what are we going to do with all this content? Because at a certain point, y'all, the algorithm's not going to be pushing podcast episodes from 3 years ago. It's not. You're not going to see the content that we had with Nicole Hannah-Jones today. Like, it's just not going to push to the top of your For You page. It's just not. So what do we do to make sure that you're able to access it? What do we do to make sure that this is accessible for you? What do we do? Plus, we have all these organizations, we have all these companies that email us all the time, leaders that reach out to me personally, that email Living Corporate and say, hey, really love this podcast. It helped me learn about this, right? So we're seeing podcasts growing as a learning modality. We see it all the time. So what do we do with that? What do we do with that? How do we give the value back? How do we make sure that we're growing? And how do we drive value to these organizations that desperately need a resource to not only help their historically marginalized employees navigate the world of work, but also help their aspirational allies, aka white folks, understand how to show up better? What do we do? Well, I'm going to tell you what we did. All right. We built our own AI engine. That's right. Proprietary to Living Corporate. What's up? We built our own tool that ingested hundreds, all 900 plus of our podcast transcripts, and we've turned them into e-learning. Yo, no. Aaron, give me some sound. Give me some air horns, dog. I'm trying to get lit. I'm trying to turn me up. Turn my mic. Yo, turn the mic up. Turn the beat down. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, did you hear what I said? Now check it out. If y'all know anything, y'all been rocking with us, y'all know that we got content on LinkedIn Learning. Shout out to LinkedIn Learning. I found out just a couple weeks ago, LinkedIn Learning taking our LinkedIn Learnings and pushing them to all these universities out here. I didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? So, but I appreciate that. We appreciate that. Shout out to LinkedIn being a great partner with us. But they've licensed a couple of our podcasts, right? And they've turned them into e-learning modules. We said, you know what? As opposed to trying to beg other people to take our content and license it for us, why don't we just maximize our own content? So we took all this content and we turned it into an e-learning platform. So for companies that are looking for a resource similar to Calm or Headspace as an employee benefit, right? You have the ability to subscribe to our learning platform and then give your entire enterprise access to our content. It's really fire. In fact, if you want to learn more about what it looks like and how it interfaces, click the link in the show notes, okay? There's a whole video explaining everything about this platform. And if you are a budget owner, if you are a DEI leader, and if you're trying to figure out how you can have access to this platform, I ain't hard to find. Shout out Coach Prime. I ain't hard to find, okay? It's so dope because the interface is very similar to like a music streaming platform. Go into a music streaming platform, you see the playlists, you see all these tags and things of that nature. You can search, you can type in stuff, and you can then make a playlist, just like you make a playlist on your favorite music streaming platform. And then guess what? You can take that playlist and then share it in your company's intranet page. So now your company has a playlist of content that they can then click. When they go to your homepage, they can see a playlist of topics around supporting women at work, or early career management, or health equity, right? Or the intersectionality and inclusive leadership, right? We have so many conversations that we've captured and that we've facilitated over the years. So we're trying to maximize the richness of our library and turn it into something new and experiential for organizations around the world. I'm so excited about the fact that we have Culture Amp, Textio, and Capgemini as early clients. I'm so thankful for their trust and their ability to see the value that Living Corporate is bringing to the table, and their willingness to jump on board early and be advocates, to be billboards for us, right? So shout out to the team. Shout out to our head of insight. Shout out to our entire squad making this happen. And then the last thing I want to shout out, since we're in a shouting out mood, is Dr. Shanisha White, MBA, who is our head of corporate community and leads up the Living Corporate Collective. The Living Corporate Collective is a space dedicated to having frank, honest conversations about navigating the world at work. And it's specific, though, to executive level leaders. It is a community space, meaning it's invite only, right? It's invite only. And we have conversations that don't go up on the podcast. We have conversations, we share resources that ain't everywhere else on the website. We have all this data and research from Black academics. That's Black academics, if y'all don't know. And Black and brown academics. And we have research and work from organizations that are doing all types of groundbreaking work to look around the corner and look at the future of this work and having frank conversations. If you're a people leader, right? I'm not just saying DEI, HR, talent, employee experience, whatever you want to call it. If your role is focused on leading people and or creating culture, an effective and healthy culture at work, you should want to be in the Living Corporate Collective, okay? We've seen all these little committees and action plans and groups that say they're about the work, right? All these different little spaces that really, frankly, are cloudy, right? They don't really come together to share anything tangible. They don't really do anything. But the Living Corporate Collective, if you go into our space right now, you will see a platform where you can see our latest conversations that have all been recorded. You can see the research that we've had from people who have worked with us and who are willing to share their academic research with us on the world of psychological safety and fairness at work and intersectionality, right? Like professors, though. Shout out Dr. King at Rice. Shout out to the team. Shout out to the community of people who've come together to share information and resources. You're going to see information from the Center of Democratic Technology and their work and the intersection of workplace fairness and AI, right? But not only that, we have incredible people coming to speak and talk about the topics that you care about, right? So, shout out. I'm going to tell you right. So on the 19th, because you listen to us on Saturday, on the 19th, we have Lily Zhang coming to the Living Corporate Collective to talk about how to use data effectively for organizational impact and change and workplace equity. What's up? That's what you know what I'm saying? This ain't no hoity-toity defining terms and telling you why the N-word is bad. No, we having real conversation. So it's meant to be a living community in space as well as a repository of resources, you know what I'm saying, for people leaders. I'm just so excited, y'all. I'm so excited. Like, we're in this place now where, like, we're actually doing the work and we have resources and spaces to make sure and showcase what we're doing. And I'm gonna stop putting my light under a bushel for anybody. All right. I am talking my talk because our team is fire. All right. Shout out to all things we got going on. Shout out to the team. Shout out to the diversity movement. And, click the links in the show notes. You want to learn more about our learning platform? Link in the show notes. You know what I'm saying? You want to learn more about the diversity movement? Link in the show notes. You want to learn more about the Living Corporate Collective? Link in the show notes. You know what I'm saying? Like, we outside. We are outside. Okay? I'm going to talk to y'all soon. Make sure you take care of yourselves. And I'm going to see you really soon. I'm going to see you on the 19th for a bunch of different stuff. All right? Love y'all. Peace.